It's 14 times more expensive to get a new customer than it is to sell to an old customer. And along similar lines, the marketing specialists say it takes about 5 exposures to the idea of your product before someone starts to register to do something, which is why they say you've got to do repeats in magazines. You know, three ads in a magazine, no one even knows you exist until you do at least 6, and that's the basis that advertisers will come. You know, you've got to do 12, you've got to do 3, you've got to do 6. You know, no one sees you there. Well, this is based on maximising your pings. The whole philosophy of publicity is maximise your pings. Okay, you're pinging them in every possible place you can. So let's talk about some ideas for magazines and newspapers. Now, how can you get into the newspaper? Well, simplest way is to write a really good letter to the editor. You can do new product reviews. In the world or general news, you can profile somebody that uses your service or product. You can submit projects and stories. You can write a column, humorous or authoritative. You can run a competition in conjunction with a magazine or paper, or you can get a local celebrity or dignitary involved for endorsement of your product. Let's have a look at some ideas of how you can do this. The most complete example I can show you is Australian Woodworker. Now, this is the pinnacle for a rocking horse maker to be on the cover of Australian Woodworker magazine, is the zenith of niftiness, all right? So I was looking at this cover, the previous issue, and I thought it was a man celebrating 40,000 turned pens, and I thought, who cares about 40,000 turned pens? But men are obsessed by statistics. So I thought, okay, guess what? Chris has made 5,000 rocking horses. Now, how did I arrive at 5,000 rocking horses? Well, a 30-year career, average of this many horses per year, 5,000's close enough, you know. No one is going to argue with me, no one, all right? So I said, right, I called the editor up and I said, listen, I've got this great idea for a story. Did you realise that Christopher's, and I acted a little bit, how shall we say, ditzy, but I knew exactly what I was doing. So I said, listen, I've got this idea. You know what, Chris is celebrating his 5,000th rocking horse in October. Would you like to come and do a story about it? You know, I saw that you were interested in this guy's milestone of 40,000 pens. He said, that sounds like a lovely idea, Victoria. So, and I said, I've got the perfect photograph, and then I described it to him. And he said, that sounds good, I'll be out. So we got the cover story. Now, it's one thing to have a story in a magazine, guys, but I've got to tell you, a cover speaks volumes. We have got so much mileage out of this cover. I've inserted it in the goodie bags with our students that make rocking horses. They even want Chris to autograph it. I mean, it's insane, okay? And of course, you have that framed up on your wall in the workshop, and people come in their Lexuses and their Mercedes, and they're going to talk down to Chris because he's a scruffy tradesman, right? They see the covers that he's got on the local newspapers and on this, and suddenly his attitude changes dramatically. So this is what you can do with a typical trade magazine. You can, in this case here, in the calendar, we are able to get our classes listed for free in the calendar. So that's hit 1, hit 2, okay? You could, we got ourselves listed in the World News when we did a commission for the Powerhouse Museum. So that's hit 3. Hit 4, that's the actual story, the double-page spread of the cover story. This isn't his project, but he's also did a project of a little pull along Clydesdale, so you get notoriety by actually submitting a project in this publication. Now, I know you've all got specific trade publications. This is just an example. I'm sure you can apply this to your typical trade publications. The other exposure was he used to submit projects for Toymaker magazine, which was a spin-off magazine, so that's his little Clydesdale there in Toymaker magazine. We sold a variety of products and plans, and so if we submitted those, he would run them in the product page. So the product pages, and then the other thing you could do is you could offer to review a woodworking book. Okay, so that way you get your name doing a review of a woodworking book, right? So that's one magazine. You don't do this all at once, okay? You space it out, but every time you do this, this gives your name and your business a little ping, all right?